Hi everyone, Ken Mason from Whisperingsouls. Please forgive me if I pause or can't come up with a word because I do suffer from aphasia, which is forgetting words as I talk. Um, so the one thing, the reason I'm making this video is because I have been watching on the internet and on the news about these scammers who are uh, pretending to be psychics and charging people hundreds and hundreds of dollars using black magic to uh, you know, work on their love lives or bring back a love member, not a love member, but somebody who's lost a relationship, and they go see the psychic, and the psychic says, "Oh, if you pay me so much money, we can develop a potion, and that he'll fall in love with you again." And a lot of these people are getting scammed, $500, $10,000, and simply because there are people that are either very gullible or are in a lot of pain from relationships. There are people out there who lose a relationship, and they'll do almost anything they can to get that relationship back, and that's what these people prey on. And it's not just relationships, obviously. It's, get the black magic to get a job, to do this, and, they always promise that they'll do some kind of, almost like a voodoo, or they'll create something for you to drink, or you have to put it around your shoulder, not your shoulder, but your neck. And yes, I'm very happy that the police officers are catching these people, because it's just pure bullshit. Now, scamming isn't just in our industry, obviously, because it's all over the world. Wherever there's money to be made, or people to be, um, to take money away from, there'll always be a scammer. I'm sure everybody knows about these phone call scammers that are going around. Says, "Hey, you know what? The CRA or is saying, you haven't paid your bill, and we're going to put you in jail, and so on and so forth." There's the HP scam, the Amazon scams. There's scams everywhere. I mean, we have scams in religion. We have scams in political, especially with the finance departments. But the whole idea that these people and the psychics are using, that say, "Hey, you know what, we can do this using magic, or we can use this by creating a potion, just wear a stone around your neck and this will all happen." It's kind of really bullshit. I mean, stones can be used around your neck to attract things, but they won't attract things immediately. It's over time, if they do at all. And sometimes a lot just putting the stone is a lot about just creating intuition or creating intention to have something done, which kind of forces you to move forward to get it done, and therefore is like the bit of the push in the back that you need to get something done, basically because of your belief in that stone. But to have somebody say, if you wear this stone and your relationship will come back and this and that, or you'll have this money and so on and so forth, that doesn't work that way. It's all about intent that we have to do things. Especially when it comes to healing. The healing industry, spends a lot of time talking about the honest spiritual people. They spend a lot of time learning things. They do things out of compassion. They're doing something that they really like. And a lot of times, the money that they ask for is simply because they have a life to live. They have to pay mortgages. They have to pay this. They have to pay that. And just like any regular person working, they have those expenses. So yes, they do charge. But most honest people don't charge, $500, $600 or $1,000 per service. I have a good friend by the name of Matt Stapley, who has his house and whatnot, his own business, and he's one of the best known psychics in Ottawa, but he's a reasonable price. So just because of his being famous, he hasn't raised his price. And that's all about about psychics, and if you have a psychic that is kind of honest, or you feel is honest, that's what you do with psychics. And this is where I'm kind of leading to the fact of how do you know that a psychic or service is correct? So, I've been doing this for 28 years, and I've been putting a list up for people, and, what to expect from a psychic. And how do you know that this psychic is good for me? What to expect when you see a psychic, and how do you know when a psychic is scamming you? I started this a while back when I was watching the Evangelist. Some of these people are just completely outrageous, and yet they get away with it because they're a religion. We're not. Most religion would consider us as being evil. But I remember seeing an evangelist who was sitting there, and they brought these people in, one in a wheelchair, and he came up to him and he put his hand on his head and he says, heal, or whatever he said. The guy got out of the chair, started dancing around, and ran out of the church. It doesn't work that way. There's we don't have that kind of abilities that we assume that is similar to what we believe in. I mean, I've seen people walking around and yelling out loud, like, in the name of Jesus, whatever. We don't have that ability in the name of anybody. He has the ability, not us. We don't have the ability to use it. So a lot of people use these scammings, and I've seen these evangelists, they do this, the person runs out and people start throwing money at them. I think if he had that ability to do that, then I'm certainly that he'd be investigated, or that, he'd be certainly doing it in the hospitals and healing people, just touch them and certainly do a lot more healing of people than the people that we see him doing, because personally I think they're all actresses or actress. If I had that ability, I'd be going through every single hospital and I'd be touching everybody and saying you're healed, so that, they don't have to go through all that suffering. And yet these people aren't. They're just asking for the money. Even the COVID, I saw one church saying that even though you've lost your job and everything's dying and so on and so forth, you still have to pay the $10 a month to be part of our group. So it was, it was a group that, that had billions of dollars, and yet because of COVID, they're saying you still have to pay the $10 a month. So, when we get to the site, I know I'm babbling. So how do I know if a psychic is a good psychic or not a good psychic? Well, first of all, if you're on holidays and you walk around and you see a psychic shop on the street or something like that, and you want to get a reading, well, this is a reading on your own risk, because if you go to psychic, you haven't investigated them, they're completely foreign to you, buyers beware. Because you never know if this is a good psychic or not. Personally, if I was see that, I would see that as entertainment. I wouldn't probably take much, seriousness of what the reading gave me. I would analyze it later, and if it was good, then I'd go back to them. I think most psychics that are on these tourist places, you have to be careful of. It's the same as the psychic, the big psychic fairs that come to Ottawa. I was asked to join one of these before, and I thought about it, and I realized what was happening and what you had to do here. So each of the psychics that were there, or for you to join one of these major events, in Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa, all these ones that travel, the first thing you're charged is $1,000 entry fee. So basically what you're doing is, the first time you're in there, is you're trying to do reads to cover that $1,000. So depending on how much you charge, you have to get that first charge covered. But because these guys travel with this group, they said, oh, it was good in Ottawa, I'm going to travel to Montreal and join and do it there. They now have to come up with another $1,000 in that setting to pay for their next one. So now they have to come out with $2,000 on a 3-day week. And so they're going to pump people through as fast as possible. If you're ever going to go to these places and you want to get a read from these people, because again, you should, before you go in there, do some research, go on the internet. Are they known? How people do, is there any listing that has reviews of them? Um, Again, if you're going to go to these places, you have to be buyer beware. Now that you've done these things, though, what I would strongly suggest, and I really, really push people on this, is even if the person is correct, do not go see them for another 2 months or even 3 months. What happens is that there's a kind of psychological thing that's, if you see him one time and he says something or she says something that's correct, well, you think, okay, well, he was correct the first time, he'll be correct the second time. And it's kind of a psychological thing. I don't even know what it's called anymore, but where you'll automatically want to go back to them because he was right the first time, then chances are he's going to be right the second time. And scammers suck you in for this. They see your pain, they see your that desire to see the second time, and they just will tell you things like, oh, well, if you take this will happen. If that's it's $100. Next time you come in, if you do this, then do this, and they bring you in faster and faster. Always wait 3 months before you go see the same psychic. And that's even a rule that I have. I mean, depending on who it is, if I have clients I've had for a while, I'll kind of, I'll say, hey, a month and a half or whatnot, but I refuse to see anybody less than an hour and a half, or sorry, a month and a half. First of all, because I want to make sure that what I'm seeing is working for them. I don't want to be the type of person that looks at you and say, oh, do this, and or this is going to happen, so forth, and it doesn't happen, and then ask them to come in 3-4 weeks again and charge them again and give them something else, because then I'm just self-serving. I'm not helping that person. Another thing that that what you guys may want to look into, or if you're going to see a psychic that people are kind of known, check the best advertising I ever have is mouth to mouth. People always recommend me. Every time people come here that are new, they said, oh, this person recommended you, and this forth. And this is where you know that the psychic you're coming to is relatively good. Obviously there are some that are extremely, brilliant psychics. There's some that are good. And there are some that are just new starting, and each psychic reads a different way. They'll give you different information. But I wouldn't be going to each psychic every time, every month. Always wait for those 2 months. I personally have a money back guarantee. If you come in and what I read for you, and you do not feel it's for you, or it was completely out of the wall, or this guy's completely insane, you don't have to pay for it. Or if you paid for it beforehand, then you get your money back. I have an ethics, a list of ethics that I follow, and I won't break that. I don't want to be seen as somebody that's in here for the money. I don't want to be labeled as these scam artists that are going around and saying, do this and you'll be cured, do that and you'll be this, you'll be that. Because, there's no way in hell anybody can be cured by taking some kind of black magic potion. Just by, charging somebody $500 to make a crystal to put on your chest. Not going to work. So another thing you may want to look into is, if it's somebody new, you look at them and like I said, if you're going to a vacation, you see something and they go in there and says, they'll charge a certain amount of money. It says, well, I'm not going to pay you for the first 10 minutes to see if that you are connecting to me. That in itself, if they don't allow that, then you know that they're not interested in you. And most psychics will allow that 10 minutes to test them, simply because, if they want your business, then they have to be correct. We are a business. I mean, we are a service. And like any other service, you have the right to not have to pay until that service is done. It's like taking a car in to get your oil change. Do you pay up front? No, they ask for it when it's done. And personally, that's what I believe in. Now, we used to do that, and there's a caveat here, and with us especially, is that because we have online readings, we always ask for the money up front. And the reason for that is because they're reserving time that other people could have. So we do ask for the money up front, but there's always the money back guarantee. So, if you call us up, we want this date, but then you call us back and says, I can't make it that date. Can we have another date? We move that, and we're very accommodating with people. And if somebody comes in and says, you know what, I decided I don't want to read, can I have my money back? We give them the money back. The money is not something that comes to me and is definitely I'm keeping. I think any business is like that at all. A lot of business, call up a doctor. You don't show up, they send you a fee. So we run ours very much as a business. And I know this is a long talk and so on and so forth. But you have the right to see psychics, and you have the right to not have to do or have to be forced right up front to pay. If you want to see a good psychic, do your diligence. Look everybody up. Somebody mention him. Look him up. See what his reviews are. Look up in his Facebook if he has a Facebook page. Make sure that what you're going to see is what you want. I deal with past loved ones and spirit guides and tarot cards. Other people deal with just psychic readings and nothing else. Other people will deal with animals. This is why you need to research somebody before you go to see them, and make sure that everything's okay. So now I've rattled on for a long time here. Again, my message to everybody is very simple. Check out the person you want to see. If you see somebody, stay away for at least 2 months to make sure that everything that they've told you over that 2 months or whatever is coming true or is making sense. Excuse me. Third things. Listen to mouth to mouth. Reviews, listen to people, talk to your friends. Have you heard this person? Have you heard this person? If you're going to see a psychic that is in a tourist area or something that you have a different town and you just do it, treat it as, an entertainment. Go out and have fun. You never know. You might meet somebody who's very connected to you, but you may also meet somebody who's just going to tell you, crap that's just the typical, oh, you're going to be so much happy in this and this and your love life and this and that. That we call them fluff readers. And never fall to this. If you give me this much money, I can create something that'll help you move forward. That's not going to work. If they want money for them to do a service beyond the service you're asked for, then you're being scammed. When you see a psychic, you should be able to go there. He gives you what you're looking for, and that should be it. And then you stay away for 2 to 3 months, and you pay attention to what's happening. And it's about the most I can tell you about this. It's common sense that not everybody can read you, and there are so many people out there that are trying to scam everybody for any bit of money. You have to keep your mind open. You have to and trust what other people tell you about psychics. Psychics on vacations in a different town from where you live is a dangerous thing. So anyway, that's all I have. It's the 20-minute rant. I hope this all makes sense. Again, I guess the last word is if you can find somebody that has a money back guarantee wherever you are, then you're much safer. Ask the psychic, walk in and say, do you have money back guarantee? A lot of people do. They just don't tell you. So And I guess the last thing I forgot to say is, after 10 or 15 minutes, if you don't like the read, just simply ask for your money back, because, you don't want to go for the whole half hour, 45 minutes of them just giving you crap. Just immediately stop the read and say, you know what, it's not making sense to me. I'd like to have my money back. And that's your right and your privilege to do that. So everybody take care. Hopefully this helps you, or, certainly hope somebody keep their eye open for people that are trying to not help them, or they're only there to help themselves, and you'll kind of notice it with the things I told you. So everybody take care, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.